A British Indian-founded AI programming company fabricated its technology and financial reports, defrauding large amounts of capital, with a valuation once reaching $1.5 billion. However, lies are ultimately unsustainable, just like many research projects in India, and they will eventually be slapped in the face by harsh reality. In this video, we will focus on the widely discussed Builder AI bankruptcy event. Builder AI is a London-based AI programming company that once gained attention for its AI-driven software development platform, claiming to make software development as simple as ordering a pizza. However, recent allegations of fraud have sparked widespread discussion. According to public information, Builder AI's core technology does not fully rely on AI, but heavily depends on manual operations by Indian developers. The so-called AI platform Builder Studio and digital assistant Natasha are more marketing gimmicks than genuine technological breakthroughs. In 2019, The Wall Street Journal reported that some of its functions were completed by traditional software and human labor rather than advanced AI technology. Additionally, founder Sachin Dev Duggal was accused of inflating revenue by 300% to attract investment, leading to a company valuation of $1.5 billion. However, due to financial issues, the company filed for bankruptcy in May 2025, with only $5 million in remaining funds. This event is considered one of the largest failures among AI startups since the release of ChatGPT in 2022. Builder AI's founder and former CEO Sachin Dev Duggal is British Indian and indeed has an Indian background. He is highly influential in London's tech scene and was named the UK Entrepreneur of the Year by EY in 2023. The current CEO, Manpreet Ruddia, also has extensive experience in India's tech industry, having served as an executive at Flipkart and Amazon India, leading e-commerce and operations teams. Builder AI's teams are distributed across the UK, the US, and India. Public information does not clearly list the backgrounds of all executives, but the company does have a major development center in India, with a significant number of employees from India. Yes, you heard it right. Indians are no longer content with earning extra money through phone scams in their home country. They have crossed oceans to the US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and the UK, occupying many CEO positions in tech companies and even founding tech startups that attract substantial investments. These Indian tech talents share a common trait. They create impressive PowerPoint presentations and are eloquent speakers. However, they often drive companies into chaos or even bankruptcy, becoming a nightmare for investors. Companies like Starbucks, Boeing, IBM, and Twitter have all suffered significantly. Even the few high-performing Indian executives, such as Google's Sundar Pichai and Microsoft's Satya Nadella, have turned their companies from innovation pioneers into parasites relying on technological legacy and monopolistic marketing. These two tech giants have completely lost their innovative edge, sustaining attractive financial reports only through acquisitions and living off past achievements. In the face of the AI innovation wave, their monopolistic positions are increasingly precarious. Google has fallen from an AI technology leader to a supporting player behind emerging companies like ChatGPT and DeepSeek. Its once proud autonomous driving technology has been surpassed by Tesla and Chinese automakers, relegating it to a marginal role. Meanwhile, Microsoft not only missed the opportunity to develop its own large-scale AI model, but also heavily relies on OpenAI. Its core product, Windows, is notorious for security vulnerabilities and frequent blue-screen crashes. It's hard to imagine that working on Windows, ensuring stable long-term operation, is becoming increasingly challenging. Its user interface, for some reason, feels sluggish and clunky, lacking smoothness. Facing challenges from Apple's macOS and Huawei's HarmonyOS, how long Microsoft can maintain its monopoly through its software ecosystem advantage is uncertain. I don't want to label all Indian talents as boastful or unreliable. However, I hope those Indians accusing me of racism can rationally face a reality. Before the Indianization of Western tech industries, the US and the West held an absolute, unshakable advantage over China and other Asian countries. Even when Japan surpassed the US in semiconductors and automobiles in the 1980s, it was forced to sign the Plaza Accord and the Japan-US Semiconductor Agreement under the overwhelming dominance of the US and the West, leading to its decline. After China's reform and opening up, its economy grew rapidly. However, in the tech sector, the Chinese didn't even dare to dream of competing with the US. Even narrowing the gap seemed an audacious idea. But after Silicon Valley and Western tech industries heavily employed Indian engineers and managers, their decline has been shockingly rapid. Of course, China's excellent basic education, robust infrastructure, and long-term tech planning have driven rapid technological progress. Still, the Chinese never imagined the US would falter so badly. Take sixth-generation fighter jets as an example. China was the first to produce a prototype, conduct test flights, and set standards. China initially assumed the US would quickly follow with its own product or, as Trump claimed, already had a prototype long ago. But the reality is that the US hasn't even produced a PowerPoint presentation. After Trump boasted about developing a sixth-generation fighter, apart from some vague online concept images, the US has shown nothing. This is the harsh reality. In technological competition, Indians are no match for the Chinese. Apart from population size, these two countries have no comparability in other fields. The elite education Indians take pride in is merely an illusion created through fake credentials and cliquish behavior after the decline of US education. The International Mathematical Olympiad clearly shows this. It's essentially a battle between the Chinese team and American Chinese participants. The few remaining US advantages in industries like chips and generative AI rely on Chinese talent, not Indians. Companies like AMD, NVIDIA, Broadcom, Intel, and TSMC are all led by Chinese. Their competitors are Chinese companies like Huawei and SMIC. What I'm saying is that India, a country without an industrial foundation, whose engineering schools lack industrial support, cannot possibly produce outstanding engineers. Yet Indian engineers have taken over Silicon Valley. How? Through fraud and deception. The US problem lies in the severe decline of basic education and an elite education system skewed toward lucrative fields like finance, medicine, and law. After a massive shortage of STEM talent, the US overlooked diligent, low-profile Chinese engineers and instead chose boastful, sycophantic Indians. This true discrimination has destroyed the foundation of the US tech industry. Most Americans haven't realized the danger the US faces. They don't know that, apart from chips and generative AI, US technology has comprehensively fallen behind China. In both scientific theory and engineering, the US is largely powerless against China. If the last strongholds of chips and AI are lost, the US's technological, military, and financial hegemony will collapse entirely, plunging the US into an unimaginable abyss. The hegemony built over more than 2 centuries will vanish, leaving only endless regret for future generations. At the end of this video, I want to tell Americans, the US remains the West's internet infrastructure provider, with tech giants like Google, Microsoft, Meta, and Apple. Google and Microsoft, in particular, still have great potential. But you must seriously consider whether Pichai and Nadella can lead these great companies to achieve something meaningful and make America great again. Attractive financial reports can comfort shareholders' wallets. But for the US, money is the least of your needs. You can print it endlessly. However, if technological hegemony is lost, the dollar will become worthless. I don't know if you can understand this perspective. I must also admit that Pichai and Nadella are excellent CEOs who have effectively fulfilled their responsibilities to shareholders and boards. which is why they've remained in their roles for so long. But what the US needs isn't money. It's addressing the imminent risk of losing technological hegemony, which could destroy the nation's foundation.